Okay, in creating our piece, we urge you to take the opportunities that are in front of you and see everything you can see. What's often important isn't always in plain sight. Please pick things up, look through things, it's all there for you. This is completely your show. Through life we're presented with these tiny moments that don't seem relevant at the time, and they are. When a person dies, it seems to be in our culture to want to understand everything about how they died and forget how they lived. At 4:48 on February morning, we see the person in the eyes of the people they left behind, and we hope you enjoy it.
And they say she's in the class 18, stuck in her daydream. Been this way since 18, but lately her face seems slowly sinking, wasting, crumbling like pastries. And they scream the worst things in life come free to us, 'cause we're just under the upper hand and go mad for a couple grams. But she don't want to go outside tonight, and in a pipe she flies to the motherland or sells love to another man. It's too cold outside for angels to fly, angels to fly. Ripped gloves, raincoat, tried to swim, stay afloat, dry house, wet clothes, loose change, banknotes, weary-eyed, dry throat, cool girl, no phone. And they say she's in the class 18, stuck in her daydream. Been this way since 18, but lately her face seems slowly sinking, wasting, crumbling like pastries. And they scream the worst things in life come free to us, 'cause we're just under the upper hand and go mad for a couple grams. And she don't want to go outside tonight, and in a pipe she flies to the motherland or sells love to another man. It's too cold outside for angels to fly, angels to fly.
It's been 2 years, 8 months, 6 weeks, and about 18 days if I calculate it. Some people have a calling in life. Some people want to get out a message, and others just want to change the world one person at a time. I'd like to say I was the latter, but in reality it was a more daddy didn't see me, mummy didn't care kind of situation. By the time I realised how much I valued life, it was too late. I was sitting outside this hospital, drinking a coffee. I had an argument with this guy. It's weird, it seemed so important back then, and now, I barely remember his name. Jack? Stephen? Oscar? Harry? Was it Harry? This row, screaming and spitting, shouting and accusing, and I felt this feeling of audible crack in my chest, and the world swam under me. And I remember thinking, nothing has ever or will ever hurt this much ever again. And even though I had friends, I had a lot of friends, it didn't matter. Fingers on the shoulder dragged me back into reality with a sharp crash, as I realised I had to get to the ambulance that my partner was running to and go. And I, well, I was relieved. Relieved that I was free. Relieved that I had an excuse to hang up the phone. Relieved that someone was in mortal peril because it saved me. People think doctors are heroes. Surgeons, saints, nurses, self-sacrificing, and paramedics, miracle workers. None of which are true. I've seen doctors administer vast amounts of morphine so as to not hear the screams. Nurses walk away from patients' dying words to get a coffee because they're working a double. Paramedics talk about what dress they're going to buy from Topshop to the percussion of another, hammering out beats of a heart so someone can live. It's not shocking or wrong. It's selfish, and it's human, and it's fair. We are all flesh and blood, sweat and tears, hope and fear, all nerves and oxygen, bones and cartilage. Scaphoid, lunate, triquetrum, pisiform, trapezium, trapezoid, capitate and haemate. Funny what comes to the mind. It's been a year since I lost my first patient. Lost. She was lost long before we got there to cut her down as she swung rhythmically to the sound of street lamps and wallpaper. We're funny things, humans. A girl I'd never met changed my world at 4:48 on a Sunday morning. Changed my world in 15 minutes. So I allow myself this. This I will always remember. Here's to you.
Most important commodity, but it's not money at all, it's time. Time ticks on, and each moment is crescendo to the final act. This time last year, I fell out of this club with some guy. Our hearts beat racing as I clung to him. Desperate for this to be the reason I existed. I felt so vital and so alive. I lost my phone, my house keys, my purse, and everything else that I classed as having value. And from where my phone was ringing in the toilet of that club, it didn't resonate into my perfect bubble of time. It didn't puncture my moment with this guy who seemed so important, whose name I can't even remember. Was it Harry? And even though I couldn't remember, I remember wishing, because it's all I wish now, that it had punctured my moment. Hindsight is a wonderful prison. You can lock yourself away and think of everything that you could have done differently. But sooner or later, reality seeps through the cracks. And your face just bleeds into my life. Your smile, your smell, even the rhythm of your breathing. And it suddenly dawns on you that you could have done a lot differently. And if you would have done it differently. But it doesn't matter. And it hits you as hard as when I got that call that you were gone. But it doesn't matter. A year on, some things have changed. My hair colour, my job, my room. Some things haven't changed. But you're still bleeding into my life. An open wound that bursts and pulses. And sometimes I do forget it's there. And then it hits me. But I don't regret it. And I wouldn't change it, not for anything. Time ticks on, and I wouldn't trade the time I had for the time I lost. And if there wasn't for the time that was, there wouldn't be this. And this This is when I remember you.
About you, sis. Did you know? I'm trying to find out what makes you tick. Guess we'll never know now. Maybe you wanted it that way. It's been a whole year and nothing's changed. You expect it to, don't you? Someone dies and you expect the earth to quake, volcanoes to spew, the sky to set fire, even the fucking X Factor to get cancelled. Fucking anything. But it doesn't. It doesn't even hold its breath. Life goes on and you stand at the eye of this tornado, trying to hold on to the peace and the calm, trying to make something stop, but it doesn't. Bills still need to be paid, funeral needs to be sorted, flowers need to be bought, and every fucking Tom, Dick or Harry wants a piece of you. And then I realised this horrible truth. Truth I already knew, but didn't see. I mean, I saw it. I didn't see. That everybody dies. You see those adverts at Christmas? Every 10 seconds, a child dies from AIDS, cancer, hepatitis B, cholera, insert this week's illness here. And I know it's harsh, but it's true. The world's harsh, sweet. You seem to know that more than most. But we don't seem to be able to have enough time to mourn those we don't meet. And it's cruel, but it's fair. People say how cruel it was you killed yourself. But cruelty's like an iceberg. There's the top, which everybody sees. The negative, the lives you broke apart, the people you made feel so guilty, the people who thought it was their fault. Me, who thought it was my fault. Then there's the whole other part of the ocean. The part which you don't see unless you look hard. The bit which crushes boats, the mass underneath the water that hides that life is cruel. It's a gift, but in the back your time ticks on. Your expiry date printed out of plain sight, holding the cruelest thing in the known universe. That you were born to live, but mostly, you were born to die. I used to think it was insane to give this up, insane to face your mortality. But now I think, maybe it's not insane to want to take your life into your own hands. Maybe it's human to want to live by your own terms and die on them. I love you, sis.
You have a lot of friends. What do you offer them that makes them so supportive? This week's medical cure. Paracetamol, moxifusing, vendoriniomycin. Side effects may include truthfulness, sleeping, aching, itching, sweating, bone aches, joint pain, growth spurts, and psychosis. The needs of the many, you see, outweigh the needs of the few. It's been a whole year since they lost you. And for the longest time, I covered my arse, told myself and everybody else that I did my best for you. And I did, didn't I? Do my best for you. But now the thing is, I'm not so sure I did. But then again, I guess that means I'm not so sure I didn't. You came to me. Brown hair, killer attitude, and a bit of a thing for the men. And I thought, I've seen this all before. Sertraline, discontinued. Citalopram, discontinued. Thyroxine, discontinued. Prozac, all discontinued. I spend my days telling people how important it is not to live a lie, not to create your own psychosis and live there. But I've done that with you since the day I failed, since the day you died. And I'm starting to think that maybe it's more human to want to believe the lie, then maybe it's better to pretend and just accept it. Don't click your heels, Dorothy. Stay in Kansas. Scream and cry until you're as red as your slippers. Because what you're left with is this, that you did your best and you tried. But in reality, all you did was what you were told. And although, in the day, I indulge my psychosis, at 4:48 in the morning, the office around me burns until I self-medicate with a bottle of Sauvignon, 1986. And I come to the conclusion that I'm sorry. Because I tried.
I recognised your face straight away. Someone left a metro on the fountain, and I saw your face more than your name. She gave me 2 minutes in her forever, and I'll never forget it. 4:48, it's hardest to sleep. Sulk in the corners, hoping to disappear. Part of society that's conveniently forgotten. Hoping you won't get your head bashed in by some pisshead on his way home. He gave me a coffee and sat down next to me. Didn't look too sad. Then I guess they never do. These connections we make, they may not be big or bold. They may not change the universe. But they're there. Beautiful and delicate, intricate spinnings of life. We reflect, you see, as humans. Each a reflection of the other. A smile we got from the boy we liked. An angry word from a teacher to get the job done. A keep calm and carry on attitude gifted by a mother. A fuck you attitude from your brother. And a little bit of the right kind of self-destruction from your friends. But in the end, it's who we are and what we live for in the eyes of the others. What we leave behind is the effect that we have on others. She was that girl, 4:48 on a cold Sunday morning, stopped to give a trump a cup of coffee. He knows what you were to everyone else. Who cares? It's selfish, but it's human and it's fair. But that day, you gave me 2 minutes you'd never get back. You saved me from the cold and the ache of sleep and the loneliness gripping my heart. You didn't cure cancer or fly a rocket to the moon. Who cares? You're here. You're vital. You mattered. So watch the stars, predict the past, and change the world with a silver eclipse. The only thing that's permanent is destruction. We're all going to disappear, trying to leave a mark more permanent than yourself.